Hi friends, Alexa Roan here.
Mark Highlove.
Nice to see you. So today we just started talking, before turning on the camera, about regional herbs. We were in Oregon working an event and both came home with what I would politely call brown lung from all the dust and all the pollens and all the gross, and we were just hacking things up. Our lungs were destroyed.
There was a big fire nearby. It was very smoky.
Really tough.
But 30 miles away, but nearby enough to where it was rough. The ground was very dusty. There are lots and lots of people kicking up lots and lots of dust. Well, so by the way, when you're walking and it's dusty, pick up your feet, people.
I know.
What's with the foot drag? Come on.
I don't know. And you know, we have friends in the Bay Area with all of those fires recently who are having to find super strong face masks because of all the dust and all the fire and all those particulates. But I digress. So as we're driving back from Oregon, we're saying, oh man, mullein. It's an amazing respiratory
Love
herb.
mullein.
And while we didn't risk our lives to stop and actually pick some, it started a conversation is too hard apparently. So it got us talking about regional herbs and why mullein in that instance would have been the best fit for the job, because it was regional, it was local, it was growing there, it had the, I don't know, what energetic tendencies, he knows what that is, of that area. So it is the thing that would have made us feel super awesome, much faster, much wow. I don't know. Mark, educate me. Why is it the case? What is it with regional herbs? How do you learn about them? How do you put them in your body? Tell me a thing. Tell me your stories.
I like regional herbs. I mean, it's like getting to know your neighbors, you know?
I hate doing that. God.
Hi, neighbors.
Try not to leave the house. I mean, I guess it depends on your personality.
I love to leave the house. Go outside. Go for a walk. The thing is, generally speaking, all the plants that you need are going to grow near where you are. As we've changed our lifestyle as humans, we've tended to globalize the way that we interact with the world, so we have access to plants from around the world, which is also super cool. I'm into it. I take plants from all around the world pretty much every day.
I mean, Tulsi is like native to India, and it's still super mega fave.
Well, we could grow it here, although we generally like best Tulsi I've found comes from India, from by Organic India. The best roses, our favorite, the best roses from the Kazanlak Rose Valley in Bulgaria.
We did try to grow that Tulsi in Nashville while we lived there. It did not go exceptionally. We planted it at the wrong time. It was kind of measly. So
I've grown great Tulsi in Ojai, although my friend BD, who's a farmer, Earth Farms in Ojai, grows fabulous Tulsi. You can find him at the Ojai Farmers Market on Sundays.
Similar latitude, I guess, to India. Is it warm there? It's temperate? I don't know.
Yeah,
that area of California has great growing weather. You could probably grow anything.
Yeah, so. I've even grown bananas there.
Okay.
Anyways, different story. So honestly, where you live is how you're living. So if I'm living here and I'm breathing here,
Reno.
And I'm walking, we're in Reno right now. And I'm in this area, so I'm breathing the air that's here. I'm walking on the ground that's here. The sun is traveling, the daylight hours and all that stuff is what's happening here. And so when I eat plants that are grown here, then those plants are also dealing with the same environment as I am in. So what happens is the way that the plant grows here is got all these specific things, this je ne sais quoi, all this different things that I'm not like a super scientist guy. I just know that they all grow with the natural local environment and the weather and everything that's going on here, and they take that into consideration and they adjust for all that stuff. Now when I eat the plants or make tea from the plants that are locally growing here, then it helps me to balance and acclimate to the local area. For example,
totally, it's like the nurture part of the nature versus nurture argument, because the area here nurtures a specific part of those plants. That's why you'll see more drought tolerant plants or more drought tolerant varieties of plants here than in other areas. A mullein plant could grow here and be super down with dryness, and it might grow somewhere really moist and just be like thriving on water. And that's because they've been kind of accustomed to that area and that sort of climate.
And as we consume foods and interact with our local environment, our body kind of grooves and gets in tune with I know it's so hippy dippy trippy, but it's real. You get in tune with the local environment, and then we function better within the local environment as our system acclimates to the local system that's happening around us, that we get to meld in and be a part of the local system.
I had someone telling me that last night. They're like, yeah, it took me about 2 years to get my skin used to the dryness in Reno. I mean, I've lived in the desert a long time. Before coming here, I had a hard time in Nashville. I was like a swamp creature all the time.
So hard for me.
So we are acclimated to dry. This is easier for us. But for someone who's more acclimated to moist, it takes them a while to get used to that. But humans adapt. It's what we do. Organisms in general adapt. You get used to it. You get good at it. And then next thing you know, you're still glossy even though you've been in the desert and haven't moisturized.
It's true. And then one of the life hacks or whatever to
that word.
yeah, but it's true, like a shortcut to adapting to your local environment is to be part of your local environment, like interact with your local environment.
Poke
it's like
it.
if you move to a new town and all you do is hang out on the couch and
Climate control.
in climate control and like interact on the internet and order your food from outside, and you never talk to anybody and you never meet anybody, and you don't know your local environment, you're not interacting with your local environment, you're not melding with, you're never going to adapt to the local environment because you're not interacting with the local environment.
It's like in a more extreme case, it's like how humans can build this layer of what's called brown fat. It's a really healthy layer of fat that you get under your skin from exposure to cold weather. When you spend all of your time inside in climate control, you never develop that layer. So people who live in colder climates but still stay in climate control, they can go outside and freeze their little tiny heinies off because they're not developing that fat. All right, so if you're on the game and you're actually actively trying to get outside, be in the cold weather, you're going to build that layer of brown fat. I was introduced to this concept by Mr. Money Mustache, who is I don't know, personal hero is the way to go, but he's an incredible blogger. He talks about really living life as a true human, being good to your finances, good to your life, and living like a real conscientious and just like logical-minded person. He is incredible. Check him out if you haven't. He's also
Mr. Money Mustache. He's great. Does he have a good mustache? He has a good mustache.
I mean, with a name like Mr. Money Mustache, how could you not? I mean, I'm sure that they would be partners in cool mustachio-ness, but all right, I digress. So, brown fat, that's one of the ways that you can acclimate to where you live. If you're living in the South, you're not going to have a lot of that, but if you move from the South up north, it takes a while to get used to, but that's how you become hardier and healthier and brown fattier.
Like us, hardy and healthy. Yeah, and it's nice. It's nice generally. Just go outside. Go for walks.
Yeah, he makes me go outside.
It's nice. We love it. Sometimes she makes me go outside. Although I tend to be more solar powered.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I have a great window right next to my desk, so I feel like I'm almost outside all the time. I look out, I look at the chickens. That really keeps me connected to nature while I'm spending, 10 hours a day on the internet, because that's the nature of my work. But, I find ways to make it healthy. I go outside and talk to the animals and keep by the window and go ride a motorcycle or let him force me to be outside for a while. Sometimes I'll take my computer out there if it's nice enough.
Totally.
And then I can be on the internet and outside. It's a novel idea. If you have a wireless computer, you can go outside with it.
Going outside is great. I highly recommend going outside. It's a great place to breathe. I love breathing outside.
All right. Yeah. I mean, what about acclimating and local herbs? How can you find out what's local in your area? I have no idea what's local here. The only place where I know the plants that are local was in Austin, Texas, because I took a native plants there in college. I had to go walk around in the wilderness, which is way outside my comfort level. There was so much nature out there, and learn about the plants, identify them. But now I only really know what's in Austin. How can you learn this crap where you live if you haven't done this before?
Go on a local native herb walk.
Where do you do that?
They're so fun.
How do you find that?
How do you find that? I would say
Google
probably
it?
the internet. I mean, I tend to be the old school guy, so I'm fairly new in this region. I have not really gone on herb walks in this area, but I've just have a bunch of, I've spent much time. I mean, I've spent a lot of time here, but not so much since I've moved here.
Okay.
But yeah, I ask around, ask at the health food store about, look on little bulletin boards, look online.
For me, I like to figure out how to do things online. He likes to leave the house to figure out how to do things. So I have a feeling Meetup or one of those other online resources could help you find something locally. If not, you could start one and maybe find some other herb enthusiasts to go hang out and be in nature with.
There's all kinds of great.
Yeah,
There
or
are
an
all
herb
kinds
shop.
of great herb organizations and local herbalists. Yeah, go wander in an herb shop and talk to them. Wander in your local health food store and ask in the supplement department, herb department about this sort of thing. You know, there's herb shops are great. If there's a local herb shop, definitely talk to them.
Looks like your hand was going into my yoni. He's nothing to see down there. I promise, guys. Everything that's happening below this screen is completely PG. He's definitely wearing pants.
I'm totally wearing pants.
No, not telling.
Yeah.
Use your imagination.
So, but
or
yeah,
don't.
Alexa tends to look for things. First place to look on the internet. My tend to look for things. For last place to look is on the internet. So I would wander around town, meet people, talk to people. There's all sorts of like wilderness survival stuff. Those guys are great resources for knowing the local plants. The other thing is to just go hiking. Look at trailheads. Like, look at the plants. Talk to the plants. Ask the plants. Don't go out in nature and eat a bunch of plants that you don't know what they are.
Especially mushrooms.
But literally, yeah, or mushrooms either. Plants are fungus
Get
or
a
whatever.
field guide even for
Get
your
a field
area.
guide. Totally.
There's apps for that too. I mean, one of the
Probably are.
You know there are. I have some.
Yeah.
I definitely have some field guide apps, and you can take little quizzes.
You probably need a smartphone for that. Like, you can't use a landline for apps or
You'll
flip phones. Don't
no
work
dumb
for that.
phones. Got to be a smartphone.
But yeah, go hiking. Like, talk to your plants. Look at your plants, and you'll notice their plant families, and some of the plants where you are probably similar to some of the plants where you're from, and you might even meet people on the trail that are herbalists. And
hey, you might.
I love herb walks. Going on herb walks, learning.
Let's see. This rambling video. What did we cover? We talked about plants. We talked about regional plants. We talked about leaving your house and talking to plants.
Going for hikes and walks in the neighborhood. Most of the plants that you don't even have to go find real nature. Like, you can find, like, out in undisturbed nature. You can find nature right in your neighborhood. There's even in the urban area nature is all around, and nature persists and pervades. You will find native, local, and adapted plants growing in little like alleyways and walkways and cracks and crevices, and just go for walks and see what's popping up in people's gardens.
Yeah, find someone whose yard looks like it's got crazy cool stuff going on. See what they've got. Maybe look on Craigslist. We found this amazing, like, I don't know, she must have been some like magical witch lady, but she gave away free good witch, like the good witch kind.
Yeah.
She gave away a bunch of feverfew and mullein and hollyhock and gave us all of these plants and just handed them to us. And I think she was
so awesome. She also gave us tons of information about the local climate and the environment.
Free on Craigslist.
Just free on Craigslist. And she's awesome.
And I think she was magic or really tuned in, because she said, this is the day it's going to start getting cold in Reno. This is the day it's going to like do its first frost. And she was like there within a day. So either she's memorized the Farmer's Almanac, or she might be some sort of awesome like earth witch, which is what I like to think.
Farmer's Almanac's great. Also, go to the local nursery.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not talking about a big chain nursery.
Not Home Depot.
Yeah, not Green Thumb. Maybe Green Thumb. But whatever. Some local nursery, ideally locally owned. Always support the local mom and pop. That's my thing. Find the local shop. Talk to them. Yeah, talk to your local.
Find a plant nerd. That's the summary of today's video. Find a plant nerd. Befriend them. Give them plants. Let them give you plants. Talk about plants.
the native people, indigenous people community. Reach out, find and see if there are native people in your bioregion, active in your bioregion, and oftentimes those folks are great resource for understanding the local, what's going on locally, because their families have been there for millennia. I mean, it's great. It's great resources. I've learned so much about my local bioregion from the local natives and the people that are hanging out around the folks that are into the local stuff that's going on.
And there's always the internet. You can always get on the internet, take an herb course, take something, and learn about what's happening in your land. So until next time, keep learning about plants, and apparently, and I guess talk to them.
Yeah, talk to plants, know stuff. Ultimately, if you really want to know about a plant, just ask it. And it's nice to have an herbalist that can teach you, or make that introduction. I like to, when I take people on herb walks, local herb walks, the way I see it is I'm just walking with some new friends and introducing them to some of my old friends. And once I've introduced them to the herbs, they can form their own relationship with the plants and
There you go.
they can ask the herb what it does for them and get to know each other.
There you go.
Hang out.
This is the hippie in the family. This one. All right, until next time. Bye, wellness warriors. Keep doing things and not sucking at life. Yay.
Yay.